You know that feeling when you're watching a K-drama and then suddenly you want to experience Korea for yourself? The quiet streets, late night convenience store runs, and those random walks that somehow feel emotional for no reason. That's exactly what Korea felt like for us. What started as just loving K-pop and K-dramas slowly turned into us actually traveling across different cities in Korea. And every place gave us a different feeling. Our interest in Korea really started back in 2019. At first, we were just casually watching K-dramas and listening to K-pop. Eventually, we became even more curious about the Korean culture itself. We started learning the language and watching more Korean content. Learning about the food, traditions, and everyday life in Korea. And honestly, the more we learned about Korea, the more we wanted to experience it ourselves. In 2021, I even became an honorary writer for COSIS, which made us appreciate Korean culture more because we got to share our stories and contents about Korea. And from there, traveling around Korea became something really meaningful for us. Seoul honestly felt like the Korea we've always seen in K-dramas. Busy streets full of people, bright lights everywhere, cute cafes on almost every corner. The moment we arrived, it just felt exciting, like we were really here. But funny enough, it wasn't the big landmarks that stayed with us the most, but those small, ordinary moments. Riding the subway like locals, walking around the city at night with no real plan, grabbing snacks from convenience stores after a long day of exploring, and somehow, those simple moments made everything feel more real. At some point, it didn't even feel like we were just tourists anymore. It felt like we were actually living inside the city. One thing we really appreciated while traveling around Korea was how easy everything felt. The transportation system was honestly so smooth. It took away a lot of the stress of exploring. Subways, buses, trains, everything are just connected. And even just walking around felt comfortable and safe. Because of that, moving from one place to another never felt like a burden. It actually made us want to go farther, to explore not just Seoul, but other cities in Korea too. And that's when the trip started feeling bigger than we expected. When we got to Suwon, the atmosphere honestly felt really comforting. There were still a lot of people around since we visited during the weekend, but somehow, the city still had this calm and emotional feeling to it. Just walking around started to feel memorable. It reminded us of those peaceful scenes in K-dramas where nothing major is happening, but we still end up feeling emotional for some reason. And one of the highlights for us was visiting one of the filming locations from the K-drama, Love the Runner. As fans, seeing it in real life honestly felt surreal. It's crazy how a place you've only seen on screen can suddenly feel so real when you're finally standing there yourself. And moments like that made us appreciate traveling around Korea even more because sometimes it's not even about the tourist spots, but just about being there and feeling the atmosphere for yourself. Jeonju honestly felt like stepping into a historical K-drama. The Hanok houses, small alleyways, the whole atmosphere just felt so beautiful and timeless. And what made the experience even more special for us was staying in a Hanok Airbnb while we were there. Waking up surrounded by traditional Korean architecture honestly felt surreal. It felt peaceful, but at the same time, it made us appreciate Korean culture even more. We also did a little hike just to see the top view of the Jeonju Hanok village. And seeing the Hanok roofs all together from above was honestly one of our favorite views from the trip. It's amazing how Korea keeps so much of its tradition alive while still feeling modern at the same time. And Jeonju really made us feel that. And then there's Jeju. Honestly, Jeju felt completely different from everywhere else we visited in Korea. The moment we got there, everything just felt lighter. more peaceful, more calming. It honestly felt like we stepped inside the healing episode of a K-drama. And part of the reason we wanted to explore Jeju so much was because of the K-dramas When Life Gives You Tangerines and Welcome to Some Dalry. Watching those dramas made us fall in love with Jeju even before we visited, but seeing it in real life felt completely different. We've always been amazed by the things that make Jeju so iconic. The Jeju oranges, the Dol Harubang statues, the beautiful beaches, the huge canola flower fields that honestly look unreal in person. And of course, hiking up Songsan Ilchulbong was one of the biggest highlights for us. The view from the top was honestly breathtaking. And moments like that made us realize there's still so much more to Korea beyond the busy city life. Jeju just had this feeling that made us want to slow down and simply enjoy where we were. The more we travel around Korea, the more we understand why so many people fall in love with it. And honestly, it's hard to explain unless you experience it yourself. It's not just about K-pop or K-dramas. I think those are just what first introduce people to Korea. But once you finally get there, you start connecting with something deeper. It's the feeling. Seoul felt exciting. Suwon felt comforting. Jeonju felt timeless. And Jeju felt healing. Every place had its own atmosphere, its own personality and story, and it started feeling like a place we genuinely connected with. And honestly, every trip just makes us even more excited to come back and discover more places in the future. So this video is really just the beginning because there are still so many cities to explore, so many places from K-dramas we want to visit, and so many more moments we can't wait to share with all of you. So we hope you'll join us for the next part of this journey.